I'm singing the scratches. That's not a good idea. Well, used to draw, hard to admit that I used to draw portraiture in the human form. Doodle of a two-headed unicorn, it was soothing. Moving his arm in the fusion of man-made tools and a muse from beyond, even if it went beautifully wrong. It was tangible truth for a youth who refused to belong. No-name nooses, dudes in the bedroom, oozing a brand new Sunia form. Barely commune with the horde, got a whole grayscale on glue in his roll. Might zone out to the yap of the magpie, unseen hand dragging his graphite. Cross contour, a little bit of backlight, black ink after a pistol to baptize. You can imagine the rust that ensue when you get 3 dimensions stuffed into 2. Then it's off to a school where it's all that you do, being trained and observed by a capable few. Back in New York, 5 peeps and a dog in a 2-bedroom, doing menial jobs, plus rhyming and stealing and being the cloud. Distractions free to maraud. I left some years of deer in the light, I left some will to spirit away. I let my fears materialize, I let my skills deteriorate. Haunted by the thought of what I should have been, continuing the mission that was rooted in a 20-year affinity, a rickety condition with an ID crisis. Nap on the front lawn, look up in the sky, it's shapes falling out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings, just to count your rings, just to count your rings. And there were colors pouring out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Used to paint, hard to admit that I used to paint. Natural light on a human face, sent so far on his roommate's face. It was blooming addiction, the mist and the push to the pigment. Booked like a tattooed pigskin, like pinhead kids at the minute. Drank Kool-Aid from a tube of acrylic, and I grew up in the linseed oil of a linen. Joy to the poison, voice of the resin. Capture a map of the jester, back up, add a little accurate fat to the figure. Redo that, move that inward. Zinc white lightning shoots from its fingers, strewn with illusion and tinctures. Stay tuned for the spooky adventures. You can imagine the stars that align when the forearm starts foreshore, and they write or a torso hung on a warping spine. The proportion reads as warm and alive. Routine day with a dirty brush, then a week goes by and it goes untouched. Then 2, then 3, then a month, and the rest of your life you beat yourself up. I left some seasons eager to fall, I left some work to bury alive. I left my means of being dissolved, I let my person curl up and die, eating up his innards in unfeasible anxiety. Is brutally committed to relinquishing his privacy, aligning with the trials of the anti-Midas. Nap on the back lawn, look up in the sky, it's shapes falling out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings, just to count your rings, just to count your rings. And there were colors pouring out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings, just to count your rings, just to count your rings. I missed one word. Fucking, I gotta do this again. F-.